Participatory Actions in Zone 9 in Milan was a 2-year research program funded by Polysocial Award 2014, the social responsibility program of Politecnico di Milano. The research project developed a virtuous relationship between the spaces and competencies present inside the university campus and the urban context in which the campus is located. The project aimed at activating space inside the campus as incubators of social practices, in which experiment and prototype social actions using a co-design approach. It was articulated in 4 main pillars of activities: the creation of community gardens, a mobile pavilion touring the neighborhood, a sustainable economic strategy for the social practices and the development of neighborhood social TV. We are now focusing on the latter one. CampUS Social TV was an empirical work aimed at involving social groups who are often at the margins of society as young people who are not in education, employment or training, or teenagers who are at risk of dropping out of school. In order to reach these groups, the collaboration with organizations and educators who were already active at a local level has been necessary. We collaborated with the Abelia Youth Center and the Fondazione Aquilone in Bruzzano, a suburban neighborhood of Milan, not far from university campus. We developed a process of social inclusion using participatory video practices and tools, collaborative storytelling in which designers act as mediators. This case study is an example of our research approach for community-centered design actions. The participatory process involved a young group of needs for designing, writing and producing audiovisual contents. They were fond of hip-hop music and now and then they used to attend the music studio provided by the Youth Center as a way to self-express themselves. Over the 2 years of the project, participants had an active role being at the same time in front of the camera performing their music and behind the camera shooting directly. The main goal of the project was to give the participants an additional opportunity for self-expression. The participatory process has therefore mixed different tools, some of which are derived from co-design practices, others from participatory video practices. The first year focused on the production of the video for Classe 98, one of the many songs they had written. The educators were dealing every day with the loneliness of each teenager. The educational goal was to give the opportunity to the participants to get out from their usual places to know new ones, working with mobile phones and anything we had at our disposal. The agreement with the participants was to build together a music video for one of their songs, and we were all co-authors. In terms of process, we had a lot of meetings in order to gain confidence, mostly speaking about their songs. Therefore, according with educators, we established that the workshop had to be done on a regular basis, weekly. In doing so, ad hoc tools had been designed according to the specific needs of the participants and to the kind of relationship we were developing little by little. We started having easy exercises introducing them to the moving image field, using simple animation techniques such as pixelation. We then used the footage we shot for the animation exercise as a mirror. We selected sequences of frames showing the guys in the urban context, asking them to draw on it their own self-portraits. The aim was to graphically express and represent their feelings about the experience itself, and also about themselves as they appeared in the pictures. Their songs were the main subject we used for all the activities. We started selecting some keywords and we prepared the cards, a dedicated tool which was useful for linking words to images. This kind of activity helped the guys a lot to imagine, to visualize, to tell in pictures. The final result was the storyboard of the video clip. Throughout the workshop experience, it was decided to use different workplaces: the rehearsal recording room of the Youth Center Abelia, the Instrumental Audiovisual Laboratories at Politecnico di Milano experiences how is shooting in professional environments and moments of exploration in the city of Milan. In the concert hall of the Bar Jodak, the final video was presented and screened, along with a backstage video done by the participants too, who later offered us a rap concert and a DJ set with their songs. In order to gain knowledge from the workshop experience, we researchers and the educators from Abelia met again to analyze the work done and understand how to develop further the collaboration. We used semi-structured interviews to both the educators and young participants. We decided to develop a second year of experimentation aimed at pushing participants on a path for independence. We wanted to provide to both the young and the educators the basic tools and technical skills, allowing them to go ahead without us. The second year of activities concentrated on designing the format for a web TV channel on YouTube and Facebook, and on producing the pilot episode. Combo Connecta project is a web format dedicated to hip-hop music and culture. Episode after episode, the talk show develops a path that makes the emerging young meet the established rapper, the big, from the Italian hip-hop scene and follows them to a live concert. Similarly, the previous experience, also the second year of activities was characterized by a first phase of the project dedicated to meeting and discussion. A mixed team was created with specific and assigned roles. Non-expert teenagers were involved in creative practices as members of the editorial board and the production team. Expert young people played the role of mentors and motivators, launching challenges and dictating the rules. Educators and researchers played the role of facilitators, observing, developing and providing the appropriate tools to carry out creative activities, in order to feed and nurture the skills and stimulate the process, according to a model of tutor-peer education. Participants worked together to design the format using tools coming from the communication design field. They defined the target audience using personas, which typically include an image of a person who represents the user group, typically created in product or service design projects. A user persona visualizes the main characteristics, ambitions and frustrations of a group of users via extensive qualitative and quantitative user research. The persona is given a name and a few personal characteristics such as age, gender, educational level, occupation, etc. Describing relevant actions of the persona in his or her natural context helps the design team to understand how a new product or service would fit into such individuals' daily lives and impact their experiences. Afterwards, we designed specific tools in order to define the structure of each episode of the show and the role of the characters. The final step of the process was the definition of the paper format, a specific tool coming from the broadcast field. The paper format represents, in fact, the basis for defining roles, timing, duration, location, and specific objects which are necessary for producing and post-producing each episode. It represents the first development of an idea and it verifies its feasibility. In this specific case, it was the document which defined all the creative and productive elements of the format itself. According to the paper format, each part of the pilot episode was shot on location or in studio by the young people themselves, with the help of university students. It was then published and distributed on Facebook fan page of the project. In conclusion, the most significant contribution of the CampUS Social TV project was the chance to train youth centers educators to go further with their educational approach. In fact, even if teenagers were considered explicitly the main participants of the project, educators gained benefit in terms of basic design competencies and co-design tools. They enriched their skills and they could then integrate new competencies and tools in their activities, also sharing them with other educators. Eventually, the project represented a supporting educational practice integrated design-led participatory video.